So what we're going to look at on this clip today is another one of my shots you don't practice because you just hope you don't get them. And I've hit a shot here on the 17th par 3 hole here at Corinthians Golf Club, and it looked okay, but it's got a little bit of a bad bounce and I've ended up in the trees here. You can see the flag just ahead on this par 3. I got the distance correct, but unfortunately the direction wasn't my best. So we've got a situation here where we've got 2 or 3 things we need to look at before we choose the shot that we're going to play. Always for me, very important when you look at it is the lie of your golf ball. We happen to be here early spring, a lot of leaves have fallen through the winter, and I've ended up sitting on top of a lot of the leaves. We'll come to the lie in a second, how we may be able to improve that in a second. Second thing is we've got all these trees around us, and hopefully what you can see is the limbs of the trees ahead. And then third thing, which is really important, is how much poor ground have we got to go over. So we look at it here, we've probably got about 10 to 12 yards of really poor ground before we get on to what I'd call light rough, but again at this time of year not too severe, so the ball could run through that. And then the third surface we've got is the green itself. On this particular shot I've only got probably about 15 feet of green to play with, but what I always look at is the whole shot, is think, right, what would I be happy to score from here? I'd love to get my 3, but let's make sure we don't do worse than a 4. So if I look past the flag, I've got a little bit of a bank there, and I've probably got another 20 feet of green past the flag. So that gives me some options. If I could get this within 20 feet, you never know, I could hole the putt. If I don't hole it, 2 putts, I'll take my 4. The tee shot, that's a little bit what it deserves. That's sometimes what I look at. When I hit a poor shot, I think, okay, I deserve to score a 4 here. If I get out of here with a 3, what a bonus. So let's look at the lie of the ball and look at the situation we've got. And when you're sitting in this situation here, there's quite a lot of leaves around it. Now, rules of golf state, you can move things. Leaves are called loose impediments. You can move them. But what you can't do is move them in a way that in any way improves your lie. So you cannot move the leaves to take it all the way down to the soil and your ball physically moves. So it's really important to be clever with this, okay? I've looked at that now and I think if I start to get a little bit more clever trying to remove leaves, that ball's going to move. So I'm going to leave it alone. I've chosen that now. So that's my lie. From that lie, and then I look at the limbs of the trees, what I see a lot with golfers is they will get into the situation where, because it's a distance of a chipping type shot, a lot of golfers will automatically go to something like a lob wedge here or a sand wedge or a pitching wedge. And what that creates a problem, as you can see from my little gadget here on the face of the club, that ball from the natural angle of the club wants to go up, and that's going to bring those limbs into play. Okay, so straight away I don't want to use that club. I think that's, in this situation, if there's no trees there, it might be a totally different thing. But because I've got the tree, the limbs of the tree in the way, I want to take that club out of the equation. So let's get rid of him. So now we're looking at something here to keep it under the limbs of the tree. I've taken something more like a 7-iron. This is going to give me a much lower trajectory. Okay, and because it's going on that lower trajectory, straight away those trees now no longer are a problem. So I can take that out of my mind. I've chosen the club to play the shot. Okay. Now what I now need to understand is the power that I need to put in with a 7-iron. I find a lot of golfers, all they've done is practiced a full swing with a 7-iron on the range, and that's all they know. So they stand up to a 7-iron. Because it's a 7-iron, they stand to it like they're going to hit a full shot. And then they look to control the swing from that position. What I always say to people, when they get near the green, if you were going to throw a ball, how would you stand through the distance you've got to throw it? From this position here, I probably wouldn't feel like I've got to get powerful here to throw that ball. I can do quite a gentle underarm. So the first thing you see change, I go from a very dynamic, powerful stance here with my legs to suddenly a much more controllable position to throw that ball. Do that with your stance when you play a golf shot. I'm not looking for power here. I know this 7-iron has got a lot of power. I can hit this 150, 160 yards. I'm now only looking to go 25, 30. So the first thing I do is I narrow that stance. Second thing, grip a little bit down the club. Make it a bit more controllable. Again, reducing the power. And then the third thing, I want to make sure I do keep the ball low. So what I see a lot of time, people get around the greens, they want to help the ball up. In this situation, that's not the case. We want to keep the ball low. So very important that when you're playing a shot like this, is that you get the ball back in your stance. Just to explain what that means, there's our ball, back in your stance, as a right-handed golfer, it's nearer my right foot. Okay, forward would be nearer my left foot. So I'm going to play this middle to back in my stance. Why I do this, it keeps the loft off the club, because if I now just let my hands go naturally to the middle of my body, what I'm going to end up doing then is my hands automatically get ahead. If I keep the handle of the golf club ahead of the ball, it's going to keep the loft off the club. Now, second reason why this is really important from this lie, I'm sitting on the top of these leaves. If I try to go back and help this ball up, I'm likely to hit behind the ball. Hitting behind the ball means I'm going to get leaves trapped between club face and ball and lose power. The more I can feel that club is going to hit the ball first, I can control the power far, far easier. Okay, so that's really important. Remember, you're visualizing a shot here that's going to go lower. We don't want this ball to go up in the air. Now, what we've put up in front of us here, we've just put some cones, and that's my mental image of my landing area. I'm looking at it and thinking, I need to land the ball there. So I've now got the club that I think will land it there. If it plays it to that point and I get it correct, it's a good opportunity to run up onto the green. I'm quite happy to take a 4 from this position. If somebody said to me, you can have a 4 now, I'd run to the next tee. Okay, so important now that we have that image of shot. So slightly back in my stance. If I feel my weight anywhere, just favouring my left side. And all I'm looking to do, land it around those discs from there. Okay, well, I've landed it bang on one of the discs. It's ended up rolling up to about 12, 15 feet away from the hole. I think it probably would have ended up that distance past. It's ended up a little bit left. I'm happy with that shot. I got the strike. You can see now through the leaves. I've just hit the ball. The club has continued through the leaves. Really important to understand. I want to take the leaves after the ball. I don't want to take them before. Okay? I landed exactly in my zone. I hit one of my discs. It's run up nicely onto the green. I've now left myself a 12, 15 foot. You never know. I could still get out here with my par. But by not trying to be greedy and hit the flamboyant shot, I took the right shot. And in this case, it was to take a 7-iron, keep it underneath the limbs of the tree, get it back in play. If I do that, worst case scenario, I'm going to make a 4. I might still get out here with a 3. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.